Welcome everybody. Today's topic is going to be about artifacts. We're going to find out what are they? Do they matter? Do I need best in slot or perfect artifacts? And how much real impact do they have? This is a topic that I want to touch on because it's not covered much in the community. So we're going to see actually how big of an impact artifacts have on our event completion. Okay, in the introduction, this is meant for newer players, so if you're a veteran, just stick with me as I get through the basics. So an artifact passive is composed of 2 stat boosts. One unit can carry up to 5 passes, but you can only equip 3 of them. This is what it looks like in the game. The E means that it's equipped, so you can see that we're equipped 3 of them, but you can actually farm up to 5 of them. You cannot roll 2 of the same identical boosts in one artifact. For example, you can't have 2 plus 108s in the same artifact. You can only farm them in time-limited events and World of Illusion. Here's an example of the highest ranking artifact. It's called an Edoja, and it gives you a 50% chance to get an orange passive, which is the rank 5. This is from Rem on Dissidia DB. This is a good website link if you want to check out percentages, ranks, and licks, and a list of passives of artifacts. So what's a primary stat of an artifact? So this is dependent on a unit's specific role, and it means that it's a preferred orange boost. So this is an example of an artifact here, but which one is the primary stat? And that's going to be this one here, the attack plus 108 for lightning, because she's a damage dealer, so you want to max the attack 108 for her. That would be considered the primary stat. For damage dealing units, as I said, attack 108 is preferred. For every other type of unit, you have support, utility, your tank characters, tanks like Zax, Warrior of Lights. So this stat here can vary between either attack 108, max brave 330, initial brave 170, or even the crystal 50 passive. So you have to look at each unit by themselves and evaluate them individually, because each one has, unique skills as well. So like, for example, skills with HP conditionals, you may want to use more attack in order to reach that threshold. Units that have a party aura, crystal level 50 passive, should prioritize this aura. So we have units in the meta such as Liliset, Selfie, Barret, Rosa, Freya recently. They have crystal passive 50 that boosts the entire party. This is the one that you want to focus on for your primary stat. So what's the secondary stat? So again, it's also dependent on the unit's role. It's basically any boost after an orange primary stat. But you have to realize that they have the exact same pool as primary stats as well. So here's an example, an artifact for Freya. Her crystal 50 passive is the Dragoon Knight boost, and it raises the party max brave and attack by 5%. So in this case, the top one, the Mighty Dragon Breath, is considered the secondary stat. So the primary stat is not necessarily going to be the one on top. What about specific units? What should I get for each unit? Well, I'm not going to go into specifics about which unit I recommend for each character, but you can check out the Best in Slot Artifact Passive Guide. This is a guide that includes all units currently in the game. It's an overview of all crystal passives as well, and they give you recommendations on primary and secondary stats. I know you guys can't click on it here, but I'm going to post it down in the description below so you can check it out later on at the end. Current contributors right now, we have a Stark, Gorandude, Pandolt, and 5 DPZ. So if you're confused about what artifacts you should get for like Freya or Renault or something like that, you can check out their guide and they'll recommend it to you. Okay, let's touch briefly on the Curse 6. So what's the Curse 6 artifacts? These are much stronger boosts than the usual orange stats. So the 6 characters below are what they are referred to when we refer to them as Curse 6. So it was a concept introduced to these 6 that were eventually scrapped from JP. We just got the introduction with Vivi as well as Sarah in Global recently. I'm not going to touch on it, but you can check out Broadway Saint's videos for specifics about this. Okay, so let's check out Cait Sith, who's a buff support. Let's look at his Brave Plus with artifacts equipped. So I just want to highlight that the Brave gained by the party is 3391. And now let's look at him Brave Plus again with no artifacts. So you can see it's actually the same number. Now the reason for this is because my Cait Sith has no Max Brave artifacts, and his Brave Plus scales off of Max Brave. That's why you can see that some skills have no effect, you know, based on artifacts. But it really depends, because some of them may be boosted, but some of them may not. So you have to look at each one individually. Alright, now the next comparison will be Toy Soldier with artifacts. So he did about 2.8k critical with an 8k damage split. Now let's check out the same attack, however no artifacts this time. He did about 2.1k crit and a 6.4k HP damage split. You can already notice a large drop in damage output there. What's the final comparison here? So with artifacts, like I said, 2.81 critical. And these are the artifacts I have for Cait Sith, focusing on attack, because he has an HP conditional of 100%, which is very hard to hit. Another character that has that is Tifa. So for these characters, you want to use attack artifacts and not just Max Brave. What about with no artifacts? Well, his damage drops to 2.2 or 2.1k. It's a big drop in damage output. Let's take a look at another unit, Kuja. We have Ring Holy Plus with his artifacts. Okay, take a look at the non-critical damage, 2.5k. How about with no artifacts? Again, the non-crit damage is about 2k damage. So there's a difference there. What about his EX ability, Symphonic Force, with artifacts? So he did about 2.4k crit and he hit the damage cap, hitting 21k damage. And again, the EX ability, but this time with no artifacts. Did about 2.1k crit. He also hit damage cap, but only did 20k damage this time. What's the final comparison of Kuja? Now if we look at him with artifacts, here's the spread here on his Ring Holy and EX ability. 2.5k non-crit on the Ring Holy and the 2.4k crit on the EX ability. These are the artifacts I have for Kuja. He's a damage dealer, so we want to focus on attack. And then these are the artifacts for... These are the no artifacts Kuja. So you can see the 2k damage for Ring Holy and a 2.1k spread on his EX, so he's doing much less. Okay, let's take a look at the last unit, Sephiroth. So here I'm going to show off Octaslash with artifacts. Did about 4.8k critical. He hit the overflow cap. What about with no artifacts? So he did a 3.5k critical, and he looks like he reached the damage. He did not quite reach the damage cap. What about his EX ability? Let's see it with artifacts. He gained about 8.3k Brave per hit. He reached the damage cap, and he split across all enemies. We're going to see the same thing again, this time with no artifacts. So it's 7.4k gain only. He also reached the damage cap, and this time he did more HP damage. But that's because he has a separate passive that increases the Brave after one turn. What's the final comparison for Sephiroth? If we look at his artifact performance here, so 4.9k critical on the Octaslash and an 8.3k gain Brave with his EX ability. These are the artifacts I have for Sephiroth. And then for no artifacts, a drop to 3.5k per crit for the Octaslash and only 7.4k gain with the Brave on the EX ability. So you can see a significant difference when you start adding up secondary artifacts as well on top of the primary artifacts. So in addition, he has two Octaslashes with the 108s, so he's doing much more, 1.4k damage more per Octaslash. Okay, so this is a Artifacts Edition run that I submitted to Macnall's Call to Arms. We're just going to take a look at the ending fight, how this panned out. And they are fully equipped with artifacts, so let's just see how this team does. Take note that Kuja has one more Ring Holy, and it's turn 81. Video is sped up 1.5 times. Lily Set also has one more ability. She's going to use that right now. And Sephiroth has one Octoslash and one EX ability remaining. The turn completion, keep in mind, is turn 90. So we're almost at the edge there. So Kuja's now fully out. Lily Set's also out, but she finishes the fight with the HP plus. And we finished this fight before the turn requirement. It's turn 86. And we met all requirements. So that's from a team with full artifacts. Again, this is the final scoreboard of that team. And these are the artifacts that the team has. Now, what if we tried an experiment? What if we did the same fight, but we had no artifacts whatsoever on any of the team members? Let's see how that fight would turn out. So again, we're starting at the same timing, which is the ending of the fight. However, it's turn 86, which is the turn that we finished in the previous run. And this is the time that we're starting the video. So let's see how it goes. We're bringing a friend Jet. I had a friend Twins the other time, but could not find another friend's Twins. So we'll see how Jet can handle the fight. So Sephiroth is down to 2 abilities with his EX. That means he has basically 3 abilities. There's still 2 giants remaining. And we're about to hit the turn requirement limit, which is 90 turns. So Jet is now out. Here comes Kuja. Kuja has 1 ability remaining. And now he's officially out. Lily Set is already out of abilities. And it's already turned 90. So you can see how much harder it is with a team that has absolutely no artifacts compared to a team that has full artifacts. Because overall your performance is going to be way slower, way worse than if you had just the primary stats. So let's see how much longer it takes to finish this fight here. It's much more dangerous. We're forced to take breaks just to finish the fight. Cannot just brave attack all day, so we have to take the breaks. Again, Lily Set's out, Kuja's out. Only Sephiroth has the abilities left. He has pretty good longevity due to his EX. He gives him free abilities. Last ability from Sephiroth there. So the team is fully out of abilities right now. And is this enough from Kuja? Not yet. The regen on Sephiroth. Ooh. Okay, and with Sephiroth EX, then they go down. So let's look at the final scoreboard here. So it's actually turn 105. The team did take some HP damage, and we have more breaks than in the other run. So what's the final comparison between the two? So if you remember, with the Artifacts Edition, we finished 86 turns, 0 HP damage, 4 brave breaks taken, all requirements met. With the No Artifacts Edition, though, we had a turn of 105. We have HP damage, we have more brave breaks taken. We did not meet the score requirement or the turn requirement there. So it's not a complete run. But why is this the case? Why did the Artifact Edition complete the run, whereas the No Artifacts Edition did not? Well, let's take a look at the max brave overall of the team, for example. So if we look at with the artifacts and we look at Lily Set, her Crystal 50 passive is Moonshaped Butterfly Boost, which boosts your party's initial brave, max brave attack, and defense by 5% when she hits at least 50% of max. So if you can get 3 of these, that means you increase your team max brave by 15%, as well as their attack, defense, and initial brave. So you can already see the difference between the max brave output. You know, more max brave equals more damage output for your team, and also you have higher attack with the artifacts from her aura, as well as the artifacts from the 108s. So there's a big difference there between artifacts and absolutely no artifacts. So if you look at no artifacts, so we know that individual skills do less damage overall. We looked at that earlier. And then enemies may still be alive once you run out of skills. So we saw that as well at the fight where, you know, we ran out of skills, but the enemies are still alive and struggling to finish them off. We're just doing brave attacks. So that's why this run is much slower. We did not finish it. So what's the conclusion here? Do artifacts matter? Yes, they do. So you want to aim for the highest preferred primary stat at least one, which means one orange boost. So this would depend on the unit, but you want to focus on either attack 108, max brave 330, initial brave 170, or crystal 50, depending on the unit and role. Do I need best in slot or perfect artifacts? The answer is no, actually. But you do want to aim for high primary stats. I think that's a minimum requirement. If you have bad secondary stats, it would not be the difference between a failed run and a successful run. And then even the Curse 6 characters, they do not require best in slot to perform. People in JP have used characters like Sarah and Chaos runs, and they did not have best in slot artifacts. You can have the triple aura and you'd be perfectly fine. And then how much real impact do artifacts have? So as we saw, they cause a loss of 19 turns in a no artifacts experiment versus the full artifacts team who had their primary and good secondaries. You can already see that could be the difference between you completing a run and you not completing a run. It could still be possible to complete runs with no artifacts, but you're going to need the most meta characters, most meta teams, and really good synergy units. So the artifacts will really add up. And then to finish off, I want to conclude with the community links throughout the video. So I want to give a shout out to Magnol with its Call to Arms Index. It's basically video showcases of the hardest stages. I'll put these in the description below. Just check them out down there. And then we have Rems, the SADB database. He has everything from event timeline to characters to enemy details to skill and what they do. So check it out. It has pretty much everything that you need there. The next thing is Safina's database. So Safina's database is really good for skill and passive potencies. If you're not sure what a skill does or how much of a boost certain auras give, then Safina is your go-to. And then we have best in slot artifact passive guide. So this one's going to be recommended for certain units if you're not sure what artifacts to farm for them. This is the guide that you want to look at. And then the last thing is Broadway Satan's Curse 6 overview. So he made a whole topic about the Curse 6 and how much of a boost they are and whether it's important to farm them. I would check that out if you're unsure about if you're going to use one of the Curse 6 characters. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.